Experiment. Explore. Enjoy.
Hi, so we're with Alan of AJH, and you're here with a very special new, a new collection, as it
Yeah,
were.
yeah. It's hi from Superbooth 24, and this is a project that's not something that happens every day, really. Um, it's a new synth that was commissioned by Hans Zimmer, and there's two stories really. I mean, the first is that of all the modular and all the synth manufacturers, that Hans chose AJH Synth to build it. But the largest story really is that this synth is designed to take its place in the new BBC Radiophonic Workshop, because the backstory to that is that Hans has bought the Maida Vale studio complex from the BBC, and something he's very passionate about recreating is the original radiophonic workshop in its original location at Maida Vale. And he gave me a call towards the end of last year and said that what he'd like us to build for him, or would like to do, was to build an analog modular synth without compromise, that's to take its pride of place in the new radiophonic workshop when it reopens in London. So it's not something that happens every day, really. And we started with a few design ideas, and Hans's original brief was he just wanted an analog modular system without compromise. And so after we'd done some drawings of modules covering a whole wall, we then started to think about the use of it, and as it's going into the radiophonic workshop when it reopens in a couple of years, Hans won't be the only user of it. So it has to be a system that, although it's very versatile, it still has to be fairly easy to understand for anyone that isn't as conversant with modular as perhaps Hans is. So the design itself, we have the top two sections. We have effectively two monophonic synth voices, and each of these have 3 VCOs, but then we have 2 filters, 2 VCAs, and a selection of envelopes. And the idea here is that they're both stereo voices, because again, Hans writes for cinema where you have a very big space with speakers either side of it, and he uses that space very, very expertly and he wanted analog synths that could be placed in the stereo field.
The stereo was a big part of the brief.
Absolutely, yeah. So that really is the first part of the stereo layout, and so we could, for example, have on the left channel we could have a ladder filter, and then on the right channel we could patch in one of the channels of the Gemini SEM filter. So it's as it's modular. I mean, it's completely open architecture, so anything can go anywhere. So that was the idea of the 2 stereo voices. But then another key element in that is the triple crossfader, because again, one of the things that Hans does a lot is to crossfade between filters and crossfade between voices, and the idea that this is both a crossfader and a panner combined, and we have 3 channels of that, and so it can be even used as a 2-to-1 mix down of crossfades. That opens up a wealth of possibilities for again for stereo voicing with the 2 synth channels. So the third row that we have here is largely modulation. So we have things like 2 complex tap tempo LFOs, and then we have 2 dual LFOs. So that gives us a total of 6 LFOs, and then modules like the dual RVG, which was based on the original EMS one. That was a limited edition module. Then we also have sample and hold, multi-burst envelopes, etc. And then as we run down to the bottom row, we have the next phase phaser, which again is mono in, stereo out, entropic doom, and then the wave swarm, which can either be a 1x12 wave animator or a 2x6. So again, a module that can be used stereo. Also, we have the Gemini 2412, again stereo filter, and the fixed filter bank, which can be mono in. It can be mono in, mono out as a 12 bank fixed filter bank, or it can be mono in, stereo out for 2x6 channels. So that's kind of an overview of the modules, and the idea was, as I say, was without sonic compromise. And then the case design, again, because it was designed for the Radiophonic Workshop. Hans's original synth, the very first synth he had was an EMS VCS3, and I showed him a picture of a VCS3 84 HP case that we'd made.
It's definitely got some VCS3.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of the DNA in there, isn't there? And so I showed him an 84 HP case, and he just said, "That's it, we've got it. We just need to make it so that we can get all of the modules in." So we stretched the aspect ratio of it to it's now 136 HP for the module complement that we've fitted to it, and the case itself is walnut and with cherry wood highlights here. So one of the ideas was that the original Radiophonic Workshop was the VCS3 and the Synthy 100 Delaware system, and the idea was that this has more analog power, if you like, than either of those systems, but it still has a large vintage element to it, and it has just a massive bottom end and lots of fidelity, which I think is the reason that Hans chose AJH to do this very prestigious project for him.
Very nice. So this obviously is the commissioned instrument.
No, it isn't.
No?
No, this isn't the original. The original is down in Hans's London studio now. So he generously allowed us to produce a limited number of replicas of it. So each of these replicas has its own plaque on there with a serial number. So this is serial number 001, and this is my own personal system, and this will go to the grave with me. And,
this is the first production.
This is I don't think production's the right word really.
Right.
As the
limited
built
production.
they built to order, and we already have a waiting list of customers who've put the name down for it, and we don't expect to be delivering them next week. It's a process. They hand built to order, so yeah, but they are available.
So they are available to those with
yes
deep enough pockets.
Yeah, and I suppose your second
a good credit line.
I suppose your next question is how much does it cost?
Is there a price on?
There is, yeah. It's including VAT, UK VAT. It's £15,000. Okay. So it's probably not an impulse purchase, but having said that, it's very rare.
Half the price of a Moog 3C?
Yes.
Or less than, yeah.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
This is a beautiful machine. And
and I mean it was great. It was great to work with. I mean it's one of those things where it's just in your wildest dreams really. It's you just have to. I couldn't quite believe it, even though we've had a relationship with Hans for quite a few years. I was just absolutely blown away to be offered the project. Needless to say, I didn't refuse.
Absolutely, lovely. Well, that's quite a beautiful thing you've built there, Alan. So thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thanks to all at Sonicstate too.